In this video, I'm going to talk about the main communications that you're going to have with clients. So what you're going to find after a certain amount of time is that you have communications with customers, and it can be one of the more challenging, at least for me, one of the more challenging parts of your lawn care business is keeping communications tight with your clients and keeping them on point and minimizing issues. So these are the 5 main types of communication that I have from clients or to do with clients. Now the first one I'm just going to broadly say is the whole process of from the time you give a quote to a client, or before you give a quote to a client, you get a request for a quote from a client, to when they actually become a client and you've onboarded them. So there's a whole series of communications that are going to happen within that, and you should have standard answers for each question, and you should have a standard script basically for the sales process, the onboarding process. When you're talking to a person who has requested a quote, what types of things do you want to know before you even give them a quote to know if they're going to fit with your business or not, and that your business is going to fit with them. So that in itself could be another video, and I will do that. But just for now, that is one of the processes for communication, is the whole process from the time you receive a quote request to the time you onboard that client, and even after their first or maybe second visit, the communication that you're having with them to make sure that they're satisfied and they have been fulfilled in what you're supposed to provide them as your business. Okay, so the other one is to add or change a work order. So you have, say, a work order which is just your regular, every 2 weeks you go to mow Mrs. Smith's property. But next visit, Mrs. Smith wants you to do the hedges, and so that is another communication there. She's going to need to contact you to change the work order for your next visit and to add hedging or whatever it is that you might be doing, spraying, whatever other services you offer. Or it may even be just a request from that client to say, will you do some weeding? Perhaps you don't do weeding, but you still have to deal with that communication from that client. So that's another one, add, change, work order. Okay, another one which is very common is rescheduling. So perhaps this depends on your setup, but like I do fortnightly visits all for this 9 months of the year. So occasionally you'll get someone who, when the grass hasn't grown, they want to reschedule and say, oh, don't come this time, come in 2 more weeks. It's up to you whether you do that or not, but that is a communication you still have to deal with. Whether you say yes to that client or you say no to that client, you still have to deal with the communication from them in order to maintain them as a client, or even to fire them from being a client. You still need to say, look, sorry, this is not going to work anymore and you'll need to make other arrangements. So rescheduling is another one. Another one, of course, is complaints. So perhaps you made an error, a work error in the work that you've done, or something was missed, any type of thing like that. Whether you fix that up, whether there is an error or not, there is still a communication to be had regarding that if you want to keep this person going as a client. So another one is work errors. And then the final main communication is in payment follow-up. And this one, of course, is from your end, the business end. This is a client who hasn't made payment. So you need to then, of course, have a communication with them. Hey, pay your bill. And this is a frustrating one. And I recommend direct debit for all new clients. This is what I'm now doing. They all must go on a direct debit. I don't want to chase payments anymore. And I'm just tidying that up in my business. But payment follow-up is another one, and communication you can hopefully eliminate. So those are the 5 main types of communication that I have in my business. I'll just run them through again. So this is from the time you get a quote request to onboarding the client and then becoming a client. That is a whole series of communications. So when you look at that, you want to look at how can I tighten that? What is the information that I need to give to the client? What is the information I need from the client? And tidy that whole process up as much as possible. And one thing which I'll go into in another video is your terms and conditions for doing business with you. Second, add or change a work order. They might want to add hedging, something like that. Third one, rescheduling their booking. Fourth one, a work error or complaint. And then the last one, payment follow-up. So those are the 5 main types of communication I have from clients to clients in my business. They can generally be put into one of those 5 categories. So my suggestion is, in your lawn care business, have a set of templates which are basically scripts about what you say for each incoming or outgoing communication when it has to do with these main series of communication types. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.